too small, I got big dreams.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pun Fun, where we have fun with the puns. My name is Ryan, and we're going to check out episode 6 of the Marvel series What If. If you have not yet seen my episode 6 of the Marvel series What If, please be sure to do so, as there are major spoiler alerts ahead. So let's get into this. To explain what's going to happen at the end, or what's going to probably happen in this storyline, we're actually going to go to the comic book source material once again, and it's going to, give us a few elements and clarify a few things. It's also going to, indicate what is Killmonger's plan, what does this mean for the, our heroes, and what's going to happen with the team up with Shuri, Pepper, and maybe a potential third character they may introduce through the Marvel series What If. If not, just setting it up so that way when we do get introduced to this person through the MCU, we'll be comfortable as hell to, for them to take the helm of Iron Man. Now, that being said, we're also going to check out a few toys and figures that actually came out recently with, a lot of elements that are colliding together. So some of the Wakanda tech, some of the Tony Stark tech. So we'll definitely look at that. That's definitely going to be brought up in the What If series. So we're also going to talk about the, with the real AI, please stand up, meaning will it be Tony Stark, because we do see him be the AI in the comics, or will it be Jarvis? Just that, we haven't really seen Jarvis after Killmonger's takeover. That also being said, we're going to talk about the comic book source material. So in this case, how is it maybe going to lead into the Arma Wars, and the elements that we've seen through this episode that kind of indicates that, this is what's going to happen. So let's get into it. First of all, we see, a direct nod to the first Iron Man movie, with them in the Humvee and basically throwing up gang signs and basically, getting their butts whipped. However, this time Killmonger comes in, saves the day. I'm not going to explain the whole episode because you've seen it. That being said, Tony doesn't get an opportunity for growth. Basically, he doesn't get, to go through everything that he's seen and, seeing what his tech has done. Instead, it's being nurtured by Killmonger. So he still continues being an alcoholic. In fact, it actually intensifies as you see in the episode. His drinks get more and more frequent. And you can definitely see that just his alcoholism, for example, was brought down by his new lifestyle in the MCU. For example, every time you would see him, he'd be snacking, kind of like a tick that people have when they're a smoker, or they're trying to kill the habit. They usually compensate by eating more, or they'll find other solutions to to fix that urge, basically. That also being said, we see Killmonger definitely climbing up the scales at a fast pace. I mean, he knocked out Happy Hogan right away, Pepper Potts as well. I mean, Monger to Monger, so Ironmonger versus Killmonger, he definitely, annihilated him and any hopes he had of creating his own suit, because he hasn't even seen Tony's one yet. So yeah, that was definitely cool. I mean, Killmonger is there to, in it to win it. So now let's talk about the suits. So right now, we don't have a suit. It's kind of like Iron Man 2, where they're going to build these robots, basically, to take on or, become the army, if you will. So, I mean, we know Michael B. Jordan has, an affinity, like everybody, like us nerds as well, for anime. So, having, these Gundam-type suits was definitely great to see. However, it could also be a call to the Marvel Mechanized suits. So, in the Marvel Universe in 2020, there was actually all the heroes, and it's actually an ongoing comic book right now with that more Marvel, where every hero has this mech suit. So we're going to throw up a few images for you here, and it's crazy, it's fun. They get to merge and collide and kind of go Voltron / Power Ranger on you. So it's definitely a cool take, and I mean, somebody growing up with all of these robots and Transformers and stuff, seeing the Marvel Universe, capitalize on it for sure, but also bring this whole new spin and aspect onto it, definitely a cool. That being said, if we're going into the mechanized suits, I mean, this is going to be great. I mean, if Wakanda is going to make these suits for our heroes, I think that's going to be a cool way of introducing this kind of tech into the Marvel Universe. And if we do get to see this in the MCU, I think this would just be crazy. But one suit that is confirmed is the Hulkbuster. So we do see a toy made by Lego, which is the Hulkbuster suit. with the Wakanda, symbols and not trademarks, but with its style basically across its whole body. So I think this is definitely going to be a callback later on. I think Shuri is actually going to find the files, not only to, prove to the world that what Killmonger is doing, but also Tony's plans to maybe make an actual suit, and then maybe even make in New York. I know in the episode he jokes about it, but I think he kind of knew like this is something he wants to keep in mind. It might be very powerful, and maybe that's why he wasn't ready to give this onto Killmonger. Anyways, all that being said, we have the Pepper Potts, Shuri, and potentially a Riri Williams collaboration. So Riri Williams, as we've mentioned before, is maybe a student who we know is confirmed to be in Wakanda when she's going to be first introduced. So she may be a student of Shuri who's actually running a tech program, who may create the Iron Man suit or something similar, because Tony didn't get to it either. So maybe that's where it comes from, and this way they kind of mishmash stuff that they've had before and create ultimately the Iron Man suit. So she is the Iron Heart. So maybe she'll also have her own suit as well and become the Iron Heart through the What If series. Then if we do see her through the MCU, hey, what a great way to be introduced, and get you ready for change, because a lot of people don't like change, and having a little bit tidbit and kind of planting the seed, the idea in your head, I think is also a great way. And Marvel's always been great with that, with Easter eggs and everything through their episodes. So that also being said, we're going to push forward for what we think is going to bring on the Arma Wars. So the Arma Wars is basically Tony's tech. Well, Tony understands and finds out. Well, first of all, in this story, he's actually also an alcoholic. Throughout the Marvel's universe, actually, comics, he's actually been dealing with alcoholism for a long time. So in this story, he's already also getting sauced. And he kind of, later on finds out that his tech is actually being utilized in different suits for villains and actually heroes as well. So for him, he's kind of like trying to understand, wait, how is it that it's everywhere? He wants to hunt them down and kind of take back his technology. So he goes on a vendetta and he starts, knocking off everybody. He doesn't kill them. He goes and he tries to find these suits. So may it be heroes or villains, trying to basically, get back his tech, take their suit away. Which kind of brings him into a lot of turmoil and trouble with the law, because he's ultimately now being seen as the villain. He's going around, taking people's property or ripping into people's homes and, destroying a bunch of stuff. And it's going to be a crazy story. And I know Tony won't be in this case in the MCU's version. It's going to be probably Rhodey, who is going to be hunting down the tech. But how does the tech get out? Well, basically because of Killmonger. So Killmonger is dealing with Lieutenant Ross, who obviously doesn't care if Killmonger or the tech stays in one place. He's all about not spreading the knowledge, but kind of giving or lending resources, if you will, to different places for other projects to be built. So if he's definitely creating the Thunderbolt, there's definitely going to be some of the Tony's tech that's going to be given there. And if there's any other suits or any other contingency plan that he's creating, versus Hulk or anything else, he would definitely incorporate the Tony Stark's, tech. And that's what the government's always been after. They've always been after Tony's tech. So we're going to close things off with one last final note, which is Killmonger's, Trojan horse strategy. Intercepting and basically being a virus, if you will, for Tony Stark. So he came into Tony's life. He basically took over, annihilated all of any antiviruses like, Pepper Potts and the Happy Hogans, and, basically just kept on spreading, took over, duplicated himself, and then afterwards, through the robots, obviously, then after that, intercepted Wakanda, had them raise their shields, went in for the kill, and, he kept, it looked like at some point he was going to reprise or at least show some sort of honor by fighting amongst, the Queen and the Mage, and it was just crazy that, the tech went down and he was given the Black Panther serum. If he did all this just to get, the sip of that serum is just insane. But then again, he now became, one of the mightiest heroes or villains, if you will. in this universe. So, one last thing. I know I said that was the last thing, but this is like definitely the last thing. I mean, seeing Chadwick Boseman, again and again, is definitely, it's cool. It strikes a chord. I'm definitely excited to see him again in action. I mean, seeing him in the planes was definitely, gave me goosebumps. But gonna see him, be Star-Lord, or at least back in action, sending out little quips, and I'm definitely excited for that. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please be sure to hit that like button, but also subscribe. It definitely helps the channel, but also, it definitely shows your support as well. We're all about giving you guys, facts from the comic books and digging in deeper to give you guys, more information than just, speculation. However, this is all that it can be, because these episodes are all, different. It's on a different path. So even people that are very, that has been used to the comic book source for all their life, or people that just got into it, it's all new to everybody, really. It's just, taking and lending from different source materials. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Take care.